In the late Eocene, Egypt's Birket QARUN formation lay along the warm southern margin of the Tethys, a shallow, open marine shelf bathed by greenhouse climates. Its sands and silts are intensely bioturbated, riddled with thalassinoides and other traces, evidence of invertebrate-churned seafloors in protected embayments. Structures once touted as mangrove roots are now confidently reinterpreted as burrow systems. The water teemed with sharks and rays, while giant nummulitid foraminifera blanketed the warm shallows, classic markers of tropical carbonate platforms. Marine mammals flourished. Archaeocete whales such as Basilosaurus and Dorudon are abundant at nearby Wadi al-Hitan, where juvenile Dorudon skulls bear bite marks matching Basilosaurus teeth, direct evidence of active predation. Taken together, Birket QARUN offers a vivid tableau of Eocene shores, warm greenhouse seas, living carpets of forams, busy burrowed seabeds and a food web stretching from browsing sea cows to apex predator whales. The formation preserves a rich assemblage of molluscan fossils, especially gastropods and bivalves, that thrived in its shallow marine and lagoonal settings. These shells record both open marine taxa and species tolerant of brackish conditions, underscoring the transitional nature of the Faiyum basin during the late Eocene. Their abundance, diversity, and state of preservation make them key indicators for reconstructing paleoenvironments and sea level fluctuations along the Tethyan margin. There is an immense variety of cartilaginous fish in this region, with numerous species of rays and sharks. Fossil teeth of the butterfly ray Gymnura occur in the temple member of the Birket QARUN formation at Wadi al-Hitan, documenting a shallow, nearshore fauna of Myliobatiform rays alongside diverse sharks. Today, Gymnura species are broad, diamond-winged demersal rays inhabiting warm coastal shelves, where they cruise just above sandy or muddy bottoms and feed on benthic invertebrates and small fishes. The body of butterfly rays is flattened and surrounded by an extremely broad disc formed by the pectoral fins, which merge in front of the head. Fossil remains of the genus Himantura, known today for its elegant whip rays, have been recovered from the late Eocene Birket QARUN formation, preserving isolated teeth that hint at a long-standing lineage of demersal rays thriving along the Tethyan margins. Modern Himantura species inhabit warm, shallow coastal waters, where their diamond-shaped discs and cryptic coloration enable stealthy foraging over sandy or seagrass-covered seabeds. These rays are aplacental viviparous, nourishing their developing embryos via maternal uterine milk, and play pivotal mesopredator roles in benthic ecosystems, regulating invertebrate and small fish populations with their sensitive electroreceptive systems and benthic suction feeding strategies. Delicate, button-toothed crowns of Narcine in the Wadi al-Hitan fauna point to small demersal electric rays patrolling soft, near-shore bottoms of the Eocene shelf. Modern numbfishes hug sandy or muddy inner shelf habitats, often 6 to 60 meters deep, resting half-buried and capable of defensive discharges on the order of around 30 volts from paired electric organs. They feed by rapid suction generated through extreme jaw protrusion, taking chiefly burrowing polychaetes and small crustaceans detected on or within the substrate. Ecologically, these rays function as soft-bottom mesopredators that couple in faunal prey to higher trophic levels in shallow coastal systems. The elegant eagle ray Aetobatus is recognized by its distinctive pavement-like dentition, exquisitely adapted for crushing mollusks and hard-shelled crustaceans on the seafloor. They are powerful swimmers that often glide in mid-water but descend to forage over sandy flats, coral reefs and seagrass meadows. Their long, whip-like tails, sometimes armed with venomous spines, serve a defensive role, while their broad pectoral wings allow graceful propulsion with minimal effort. Reproduction is aplacental viviparous, with embryos nourished by histotroph until birth, resulting in relatively few but well-developed young. They are key mesopredators in tropical and subtropical coastal ecosystems, exerting strong influence on benthic communities through selective durophagy. The genus Myliobatis, the classic eagle rays, is distinguished by broad dental plates forming a crushing pavement, ideally suited for breaking the shells of bivalves and gastropods. These animals roam temperate and subtropical shelves, often swimming in schools before descending to feed along sandy and muddy bottoms. As durophagous mesopredators, they play a pivotal ecological role in structuring benthic invertebrate communities, while their graceful midwater movements link seafloor food webs to the open sea. Protopterus, an extinct sawfish allied to modern pristids, is known from rostral teeth whose elongated, serrated morphology reveals a lifestyle of ambush and slashing predation in shallow coastal waters. The genus Anoxypristis, represented today only by the knife-toothed sawfish, is unique among pristids for bearing finely cuspidate rostral teeth rather than the flattened blades of other sawfishes. Modern individuals inhabit shallow tropical Indo-Pacific waters, where their long, toothed rostra are swept laterally to stun schooling fishes and disturb buried invertebrates in sandy substrates. It serves as a specialized benthic and nectonic predator, bridging the seafloor and water column and shaping coastal food webs through its distinctive feeding strategy. Shark skeletons are composed primarily of cartilage, a tissue that decays rapidly and rarely fossilizes, which is why complete skeletons are exceptionally scarce in the fossil record. In contrast, their teeth are heavily mineralized with dentine and an enamel-like tissue, making them highly resistant to diagenesis and thus the most common shark fossils preserved. The genus Chiloshyllium is today represented by small, slender-bodied carpet sharks inhabiting Indo-Pacific coral reefs and seagrass beds. They are nocturnal bottom dwellers, feeding on benthic invertebrates and small fishes, and are well adapted to maneuver in confined spaces with their elongated, flexible bodies. With oviparous reproduction and a tolerance for shallow, low-energy environments, modern Chiloshyllium exemplifies ecological strategies that may echo those of its Eocene ancestors. Hexanchus are among the most ancient lineages of modern sharks, retaining the primitive feature of 6 gill slits rather than the usual 5. Their distinctive, comb-like lower teeth, broad, multicusped blades, are adapted for cutting through flesh, and fossilized examples provide clear evidence of their presence in Eocene seas. They are large, slow-moving predators inhabiting deep continental slopes, often descending below 1,000 meters. They are opportunistic feeders, consuming a wide spectrum of prey from bony fishes and cephalopods to carrion and marine mammals. Reproduction is aplacental viviparous, with litters of more than 100 pups reported, an extraordinary fecundity for sharks. It occupies the role of a meso to apex predator in deep-sea ecosystems, its persistence through geological time a testament to the resilience of this ancient shark lineage. Alopias is instantly recognizable by its extraordinarily elongated caudal fin, which can equal the length of the body. Modern species use this tail as a weapon, delivering whip-like strikes to schoolings of fish such as sardines and mackerel, stunning or killing multiple prey at once. They are active, pelagic hunters inhabiting temperate and tropical oceans, often ranging from coastal upwellings to the open sea. As apex predators, thresher sharks help regulate populations of small to mid-sized fishes, linking surface productivity with higher trophic levels in marine ecosystems. Carcharinas, the requiem sharks, encompasses a diverse group of medium to large-bodied predators that dominate many tropical and subtropical marine ecosystems. Modern representatives such as the blacktip and bull shark exhibit remarkable ecological plasticity, ranging from coral reefs and continental shelves to, in some cases, estuarine and freshwater habitats. As opportunistic hunters feeding on fishes, rays, and cephalopods, they are central players in structuring coastal food webs and exerting top-down control on prey populations. Otodus sokolovi is an extinct species or chronospecies of large shark in the family Otodontidae, which may represent a transitional chronospecies between Otodus auriculatus and Otodus angustidens. They differ from the former with a less curved root and finer serrations, and from the latter with more prominent and recurved cusps. Due to the subtle differences, it is sometimes lumped into auriculatus. It, along with the rest of Otodus, is sometimes placed in the genus Carcharhinus. Due to its similarities with other chronospecies, it is difficult to tell exactly when it arose and went extinct. Generally, it is said to span from the late Eocene to early Oligocene. They are best known from the late Eocene localities around Morocco and Egypt, but are represented in many deposits of contemporary age. It measured at least 6 meters long. Carcharias, represented today by the sand tiger shark, is characterized by long, slender teeth adapted for grasping rather than cutting, an indication of a diet focused on small schooling fishes. Modern individuals are typically found in coastal temperate and subtropical waters, where they patrol reefs, lagoons, and continental shelves, often hovering motionless with the aid of neutral buoyancy from swallowed air. Their reproductive biology is distinctive. Intrauterine cannibalism, or adelphophagy, results in only a few large, well-developed pups, a strategy that enhances survival in competitive marine environments. Galeocerdo, today represented solely by the tiger shark, is marked by broad, serrated teeth capable of slicing through turtle shells, bone, and tough-skinned prey. Modern tiger sharks are wide-ranging predators of tropical and subtropical seas, equally at home in shallow coastal waters, around coral reefs, and in the open ocean. They are highly opportunistic feeders with one of the broadest diets of any shark, consuming fishes, seabirds, marine mammals, invertebrates, and even carrion. As apex predators, they exert powerful ecological influence, regulating prey populations and recycling nutrients through scavenging in marine ecosystems. The genus Negaprion is characterized by a robust body and broad snout, with dentition suited for grasping bony fishes and crustaceans. They typically inhabit warm, shallow coastal waters, often forming resident populations around mangroves, lagoons, and reef systems. They display strong site fidelity and social tendencies, with juveniles relying on nursery areas that provide both shelter and abundant prey. As mid to upper-level predators, lemon sharks are integral to coastal food webs, balancing fish communities and linking nearshore habitats with the wider ocean. Carmudus is an extinct ariid catfish whose fossils, its body length is estimated to be about 2 meters long. Gymnarchus inhabits slow-flowing rivers and floodplains of the Nile, where it prowls with an undulating dorsal fin that allows precise, silent navigation. It is a nocturnal predator, relying on a unique weak electric field both to sense its environment and to locate prey such as insects, small fishes, and crustaceans in turbid waters. It occupies a specialized niche at the interface of open water and vegetated margins, shaping freshwater food webs through its electrosensory hunting strategy. Polypterus, an ancient lineage of African bichirs, evokes a picture of sluggish Eocene waterways in Egypt, where air-breathing fishes with armored scales glided close to the substrate. Modern representatives combine paired lungs with ganoid scales and a distinctive finlet-bearing dorsal, allowing them to exploit shallow, oxygen-poor habitats from swamps to river margins. They are ambush predators feeding on invertebrates and small fishes, their facultative air-breathing and benthic lifestyle echoing the resilience that likely sustained their lineage since the Eocene Tethyan wetlands. The genus Hydrocynus conjures images of swift Eocene rivers in Egypt, where streamlined predators with conical, interlocking teeth coursed through channels in pursuit of prey. Living species are among Africa's most formidable freshwater predators, renowned for their speed, agility, and powerful jaws. They are obligate piscivores, often hunting in schools to scatter and isolate shoals of smaller fishes, a strategy that maximizes capture success. Modern tigerfish prefer well-oxygenated, open waters of large rivers and lakes, where strong currents match their high-performance physiology. It has long occupied the role of apex freshwater predator, shaping fish community structures in Africa's great waterways, just as its ancestors once did in Eocene Egypt. Protopterus evokes the image of sluggish, vegetated floodplains of Eocene Egypt where air-breathing fishes endured seasonal fluctuations in water levels. They combine functional gills with paired lungs, allowing survival in oxygen-poor waters and even complete estivation during prolonged droughts. Their elongate eel-like bodies and filamentous fins are adapted for navigating through dense aquatic vegetation and soft substrates. Feeding mainly on mollusks, crustaceans, and small fishes, they use crushing dental plates to process hard-shelled prey. Reproduction is tied to rainy seasons, with males constructing and guarding burrows in which eggs and larvae develop, supplied by specialized paternal care. It illustrates the resilience of ancient freshwater lineages, bridging aquatic and aerial worlds and embodying adaptive strategies that would have been equally advantageous in the dynamic wetlands of this ecosystem. Varanus represents a lineage of highly adaptable reptiles whose African descendants still dominate riverbanks, savannas, and coastal margins. They are agile predators and scavengers, feeding on fish, birds, eggs and carrion with equal efficiency. Their forked tongues and acute chemosensory abilities allow them to track prey with precision across both terrestrial and aquatic environments. As mid to top-level predators, monitors play a regulating role in African ecosystems, linking aquatic and terrestrial food webs in much the same way their Eocene relatives likely did along Egypt's wetlands and floodplains. The marine snake Carcharhinus as a striking inhabitant of the Eocene Tethys, its body laterally compressed into a ribbon-like form that propelled it through warm Egyptian seas. Estimates based on vertebral dimensions suggest lengths commonly between 2 and 5 meters, with exceptional individuals approaching nearly 6 meters. Its morphology and size indicate a role as an apex predator, preying upon fishes and mollusks that thrived in the same shallow waters. Sharing this ecosystem with early whales such as Dorodon and Basilosaurus, Carcharhinus exemplifies the diversity and dynamism of Eocene marine food webs, where niche partitioning reduced direct competition among formidable predators. The long-snout gavialid Tomastoma prowled the waterways of this ecosystem, its narrow jaws lined with interlocking teeth perfectly suited for seizing swift, slippery fish. Extant relatives such as the false gharial demonstrate similar habits today, inhabiting swampy rivers and lakes where their stealth and streamlined skulls make them effective aquatic hunters. Though once thought closer to true crocodiles, molecular evidence firmly places Tomastoma within gaviality, underscoring its deep evolutionary ties to the gharials of Asia. The small pelican Eopelecanus, roughly the size of a modern brown pelican, reveals through its limb anatomy a lineage already well adapted for a life of soaring flight and plunge feeding in Eocene coastal waters. Its skeletal features show subtle differences from living pelicans, yet the overall body plan demonstrates the remarkable evolutionary conservatism of this group across over 30 millions of years. Dwelling along the Tethyan shorelines of Egypt, it likely foraged in shallow seas and lagoons, exploiting schools of fish much as its modern relatives do today. Based on endocranial casts, Eotheroiodes had a smaller endocranial volume than other contemporaneous sirenians such as Protosiren. Unlike extant sirenians, it possesses a tentorium cerebelli, which appears as a distinct transverse groove on the skull. The small proboscidean Moratherium was an elongate, low-slung mammal of the Eocene wetlands of Egypt, with adults averaging just over 2 meters in length and weighing around 300 kilograms. Its skull was long and flat, with nostrils set far forward, suggesting the absence of a true trunk and the presence instead of a flexible upper lip and nose, reminiscent of modern tapirs. The dentition combined short, curved upper incisors that formed primitive tusks with broad, bunodont premolars and molars, well suited for cropping soft aquatic vegetation. Postcranial anatomy, including short limbs and an extended torso, supports the interpretation of a semi-aquatic lifestyle, an idea further confirmed by stable isotope analyses of its bones. Likely feeding on freshwater plants in marshes, river margins and swamp forests, Moratherium played an ecological role similar to that of both early Sirenians and modern hippos. Its high-set eyes and ears suggest vigilance in shallow waters, while its robust body enabled diving and foraging among reeds and lilies. Sexual dimorphism in body size indicates complex social behavior, possibly linked to mating or territorial displays. It coexisted with other iconic Eocene animals such as Basilosaurus, sharing the lush floodplains that bordered the Tethys. In these dynamic habitats of monsoonal cycles and shifting river channels, Moratherium stands as a window into the earliest stages of elephant evolution, before the rise of the giants that would later dominate African landscapes. The Baratheriids were the first large proboscideans to appear in the fossil records. Baratherium itself stood about 2 meters tall at the shoulder and weighed around 2 tons. It had 8 very short tusks, 4 each in the upper and lower jaws, which resembled those of a modern hippopotamus more than those of an elephant. The upper pairs were vertical, while the lower pairs projected forwards from the mouth horizontally. Together, these would have created a shearing action for cropping plants. The tiny teeth of rodents and primates recovered from the Faiyum are among the most informative fossils, as their enamel preserves fine details of cusps, crests and wear patterns. In mammals, such dental morphology is highly diagnostic, making teeth the primary key for identifying species, inferring diets and reconstructing evolutionary relationships. The primate Aetobatus combined lemur-like climbing adaptations with anthropoid-like dental traits that arose through convergent evolution. Its elaborate shearing crests, coupled with a body mass of 3 kilograms, point to a predominantly folivorous diet, and its ankle morphology suggests slow, deliberate locomotion in the trees, much like modern lorises. As one of the earliest known primates in Afro-Arabia, Aetobatus highlights a complex evolutionary history of dispersal across the Tethys and ecological competition with emerging anthropoids. Fossil remains from the Birket QARUN Formation include some of the earliest African bats, documenting their presence in Egypt by the late Eocene. These fragmentary jaws and teeth reveal insectivorous diets, underscoring that chiropterans had already diversified into aerial niches above the Tethyan wetlands. The Archaeocete Ankylocetus, a 5-meter-long whale from this region, stands out among Doroodontines for its markedly reduced forelimbs, held tightly against its body with little range of motion. Unlike modern whales that rely on their flippers for maneuvering, this peculiar anatomy suggests a very different swimming and feeding strategy, though its precise ecological role remains enigmatic. Its unusual morphology hints at a specialized adaptation within the diverse evolutionary experiments of early cetaceans along the Tethyan shores. The medium-sized whale Doroodontine also reached about 5 meters in length and weighed between 1 and 2 tons, making it smaller but robust compared to its close relative Basilosaurus. For a long time, Doroodontines were mistakenly thought to be juvenile Basilosaurus, until the discovery of true juveniles confirmed their distinct genus. Its skull and body resembled those of modern whales, though like other basilosaurids, it lacked a melon organ, Doroodontine meaning it could not echolocate with the precision of today's odontocetes. The nostrils were positioned halfway along the snout, marking a transitional stage in the shift of blowholes toward the top of the head. Its dentition was specialized, tall, serrated premolars and molars with accessory denticles, well suited for seizing and slicing prey in the Eocene seas. Isotopic and fossil evidence suggest it was an active predator of fish and smaller marine vertebrates, but its calves were themselves vulnerable, with bite marks on juvenile skulls showing predation by the giant Basilosaurus. In the dynamic Tethyan ecosystems of Egypt, Dorodon embodied both the evolutionary progress toward modern cetaceans and the precarious balance of predator and prey that shaped these ancient marine communities. The Basilosaurid Masracetus, represented by massive vertebrae and a poorly preserved skull, first collected in 1905. Its lumbar vertebrae were strikingly broad yet short, giving it a very different spinal architecture compared to the elongated vertebrae of Basilosaurus, despite being nearly equal in diameter. This suggests a whale of considerable bulk, though some researchers have proposed that the two may in fact represent the same genus. Even from such fragmentary remains, Masracetus highlights the morphological diversity of early whales evolving in the Tethyan seas. The great Archaeocete Basilosaurus was among the most spectacular inhabitants of the late Eocene seas, a serpentine whale that could reach lengths of 15 to 18 meters. Unlike the compact bodies of modern whales, its vertebrae were unusually elongated, giving its torso a sinuous profile more reminiscent of a giant eel than a streamlined cetacean. Its skull was long and narrow, armed with sharp, heterodont teeth, incisors and canines to seize prey, premolars and molars with serrations to shear flesh. These adaptations made it an apex predator, feeding on large fish, sharks and even smaller whales, whose skulls bear unhealed bite marks matching Basilosaurus teeth. Its body plan was ill-suited for rapid, sustained swimming in open waters. Instead, it likely relied on powerful undulations of its elongated spine to ambush and overpower prey in the shallow Tethyan seaways. The small, vestigial hind limbs, complete with a femur, tibia and toes, were useless for walking, but may have played a role in mating, a living reminder of the species' terrestrial ancestry. Its nostrils were positioned halfway up the snout, a transitional stage in the evolutionary migration of the blowhole that would later reach the top of the head in modern whales. Like all basilosaurids, it lacked a melon organ and thus the ability for refined echolocation, distinguishing it from the toothed whales that would follow. It occupied the highest trophic level, regulating marine vertebrate communities much like today's orcas do in coastal ecosystems. Yet despite its dominance, it was a side branch of cetacean evolution, leaving no descendants, while its smaller, more compact relatives gave rise to the lineages that evolved into modern toothed whales and baleen whales. In the shallow seas of Eocene Egypt, Basilosaurus represented both the grandeur and the transience of evolutionary experiments at the dawn of whale history.